It says streaming.
Okay, hold on a second. Give it a
There you
minute.
go.
Yeah, because it's not showing on the screen at all. So it should be connecting. What
So I'm
program are
streaming?
you hooked up to?
Oh, I guess I am streaming. Hey guys, hopefully you guys could see me. It's not showing on my end. It's weird. Hi everyone, welcome to my 10th live. Sorry for the delay. I've actually been working on something different for you guys today. As you guys can see, I have a different background screen, and I do have a guest. Her name is Jenny Lee, the seer and medium, who's going to actually discuss some of the current topics that our world is facing at this time. So I hope you guys are doing great. Jenny, welcome to the show. How are you?
It's nice to see you. It's nice to be on your show. We haven't done a show in a while. I think we've both been busy. So I've been pretty busy because there's a lot of activity going on in our universe,
not
in
showing.
our world.
Uh-huh.
So it's been great. It's been
Okay.
really good.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. Well, I had a very interesting conversation with you in the last week regarding the geopolitical scenario. Um, can you tell us exactly, what's really happening right now? Since you are tuned into the changes with your gifts. What's really happening right
Are you okay? So what I think that's going on right now is, I think it's hard for people to accept this world that we're going into a new between 4D and 5D. And the thing is, it's just something that as a human species, we're not used to this process. We're not used to seeing these type of changes in our world. In our generation and older generations, this is not something that anybody is used to. So all these new formats that they're putting in, stepping forward, the financial institutions, the healing processing, the banking systems, all of this stuff, it's all new at once. So it's not one thing at a time. It's happening all together at the exact same time. And it seems very overwhelming for the normal people because unless you're paying attention to the background of what's going on, for the little details, you're not seeing that it's implemented. But the biggest thing that's changing is energy. Don't you think so? How the energy frequency is changing and how it's changing daily.
I know, I've been feeling it. I think a lot of the people out there have been feeling it, like something is brewing. We don't know what it is, but we know something big is coming. And, what do you think is happening in Hawaii right now
Okay,
with the
see, this is
volcano?
where I'm going to go against the grain on this. I do not think that is what they're saying it is. I believe that there's stuff going on underground. And then I've talked about that this planet, that underneath the crust, on top of the ocean, and that there will be islands that will be disappearing. And we're going to shift. And they describe this planet like a Rubik's Cube as it shifts and changes. And things that we thought were going to be there are going to change. And that's a lot for us to say, what? This is not going to be existence no more. And you're starting to see that effect.
Mm-hmm.
And these smaller islands are going to be the first one that you're going to see this happening. And that coincide what I think about, the giants. I've been working on that process for a long time too. And it's not a process where, that all of a sudden they're just going to be there. There's always signs of things that are to come. And what you're seeing, what it is that what I would call it, the unreal is real now. We've been told the opposite, and now we're seeing things that we were taught, no, this can't be real. No, this can't be a reality. And now it's trying to accept this change. And I think it's a hard for people to adapt to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's an easier process to act like it doesn't exist. And our society has been like, well, just put it on the side and we'll have someone else deal with it. Well, it's coming to our front door, and we're going to have to face that head on. And I believe, sincerely, when the rolling power outages go out and the rolling internet goes out,
Mm-hmm.
that's when that reality is going to come to full force in the situation. Don't you think?
I feel it. I feel that it's happening sooner than later, especially with
Right.
what's going on right now with 45 Mr. T. And I think on an intuitive level, a lot of people are sensing that this is it for the cabal. The deep state is done with, right? Would you
Right.
agree? And that the outbreak, not the outbreak, but the outage that is coming. Would you agree that it's definitely going to be something that the white hats are initiating in order to clean the rest of the corruption?
Yeah. And like I described, that everything's going to be rolling. It's
Mhm.
not going to be all at once. Everything's going to be in regions. And then in the inner cities, where you're seeing the more blue state cities, you're going to see more of a different containment and control, because they're going to have to vent those people.
Mm-hmm.
And like I would say, that comment is to trap the rat in the corner. And from that point, they're going to know what to do with them. And I talked about, these white buses being everywhere, and that's
Yeah.
part of venting them, taking them where they need to be. So we're down to these process situations
Mm-hmm.
that you're seeing. But if you want to ignore it and don't pay attention to it, you won't see it. But if you're clearly paying attention, you're seeing it all happen daily.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not one city that's not going to be affected by this. You can't turn the other cheek anymore because it's in front of you now. And somehow, financially, mentally, physically, it's going to affect you. So as one world, we have to accept that this is a change. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but it has to happen.
Yeah, I think when we look back at the rise and fall of civilizations, it always climaxes, it reaches a crescendo where it appears externally as if things are getting worse. Rumors of nuclear war, rumors of cyber attacks, rumors of negative alien invasions, or staged alien invasions. And
Right.
I'm just giving an example. And this is all part really of the collapse of the old paradigm. Would you agree? Like the old unworkable order that has been in place for thousands of years is crumbling, and it's cracking big time. And so I think that this is a procedure that happens as we enter a new era, where things seem like they're getting really worse, but before they get really worse, or before it gets any better, it reaches a climax. And then, of course, we have a collapse of the entire world system. And
Right.
in turn, it is replaced by a system that actually benefits all of humanity. Would you agree?
Oh, totally across the board. And, that's where we talk about downloads that we get. And me and you are familiar on this because, we're kind of like, not like anybody else. We just get these downloads and we just download this information and we let it lay where it needs to. You know what I'm saying? And as fast as it comes in. So
Yeah.
the thing is we're in this universe now. And like I said, how we heal, money is not going to be the issue in the future. And that is another hard concept for people to understand, because energy is the key to the universe. Universal. That is the value.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get to that point that humanity figures that out, that is more valuable than anything,
Uh-huh.
they're going to be like, wow, because this has to do with our planet, animals, nature, everything. Everything benefits from this new process.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is going to react from it. That's the thing about it. So I think it's pretty amazing. And I said that this is something that's going to bring humanity to their knees in a value way of looking back and going, our ancestors would have wanted to be here to witness this in every instance.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this brings humanity together and really pushes the, judgment towards each kind, each color. It brings us together as a community, as a universe. This is what we were meant to do, is work together as one, come together as one, heal the planet as one, all together. This is what they did not want. And now we're walking into it in this situation.
Right.
And, the thing is, I've been pretty supportive and blunt about who I support, and I've supported, I call him the shepherd, Trump, from day one on what needed to happen because of that download I got. And we're still in that effect, and they stayed strong on that, and everything that I saw downloading has come to pass. Documentation, about documentation. And we are getting ready to go into these phenomenal good times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for people to think, wow, our way of life, how we survive, having enough food, having everybody taken care of. When you don't have that worry, everybody focuses on helping each other because it feels good for humanity to help each other. That's the difference. This is going to change that energy on Earth into such a positive situation because that is a greatness upon this Earth.
All right. I just wanted to ask the Soul Tribe. Can you guys hear Jenny? All right. She's loud and clear. I know some of you guys are saying that it's hard to hear her or she's breaking up. Okay. So apparently I think she's good now. We put a big microphone next to your output. Awesome. All right, cool. So hopefully you guys heard everything she was saying. I mean, this is so true, guys. A lot of these events that are happening right now, they are in a way designed to bring us closer together. It is through, I'm sorry to say this, but it is through great stress and opposition, and sometimes even negative events that cause people to actually wake up. So sometimes, things like this need to happen to kind of wake up the sleeping masses, all right, so that we could have a critical mass effect and disclosure. Because in the end, all of this is leading towards a better world where everybody's needs is going to be taken care of. There will be no more haves or have-nots, no more corrupt military-industrial complex or elites. Everyone is going to be equal, and everyone's going to have abundance. And that's the ultimate aim. That's where we're heading, at the end of these changes that are about to take place, or these, I call them moments of transition, and it happens in every age. Every time we end a world age, now the difference though, all right, without putting any fear, is that there will be no disasters. We're not going to be experiencing mass disasters. For those that are good, like I mentioned before, there's going to be a direct translation where you won't experience any of the bad stuff. The bad stuff is only going to be experienced by those that are wicked, or those that are still vibrating, or that are part of this, sinister plot to enslave us. So, what do you say about that, Jenny?
Well, it is true, and I mean that is something that they don't understand. The goodness of the energy working together, that kills them alone. That really puts them in a place they have no control. And that's the process. We've been in such that program process
Keep switching.
that we don't know what it's like to be without it. And that's like really understanding freedom in a different way. And you're going to understand that, making changes in your own financial process, and having control of that and being connected to the system.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean the quantum system and all of that new process and taking care of making decisions in your own body and how you heal. They're giving us that free will to make those decisions and say, this is totally up to you. No one's going to force you to do this. That's the great thing about free will. But it's something we're not used to, literally.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying we had it, but as you look at it, what's happened 2 years ago, that was not the case. And these truly free will people that made that choice and said, no, enough is enough. And they stood in that spirit and said, I will not comply. I will not go through this. And you got to give them praise in that,
Mm-hmm.
in what they stood, because those are the warriors of just saying, this is enough. I gotta tell you, I was seeing something on TikTok and I thought it was funny how we're down to humanity where they're like, aliens, bring it on, take over the government. We cannot do any worse. And they're like serious, like bring it on,
Mm-hmm.
because they're ready for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So-
totally agree.
Yeah, and then you have in each area of our world, there hasn't been an area that hasn't been sabotaged. And the surreal of this process, because now you're looking at everything and going, everything was totally just totally in the negative process and being more negative, and people bringing in more negative programs and controlling people. And I mean, you look at everything now and you say, in every area of how we lived into power, lights, gas, everything that we did had control with it. That's the thing about it. And that's
Absolutely.
what has made us go, wow, we can't look back on this now. We can't leave our guard down. We have to make sure things are done right, and fairness has to be across this world.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, would you agree that what's happening in Hawaii right now is something of a natural process where the inner, like you mentioned, these cities that exist within the volcanoes, do you think they're rising? Is that what's happening at this time?
Part of it is, but I think there's another energy with it too.
Okay.
I think you've seen a lot of people go to the negative. And I tell people, listen, if you go straight to the news and you listen to that right away, you're going to have an opinion on it. Wait till 3 or 4 days later when you see the cloud clear up. But I believe there's two situations going on with that. So, you're not going to get the truth from the news. They're just going to show you what they want to show you.
Right.
So, again, paying attention to your own instinct, following with that, doing your own research, paying attention to what's going on. Googling it's not going to get you the truth to it. You've really got to listen to people that are paying attention or living there or telling you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I heard that they were warned to a certain degree, and some people didn't leave. So I'm not 100% that is true, but
Or even the fires. Do you think the fires were initiated by some sort of weather modification system, perhaps through advanced, what do they call it, where they beam it from?
well, there's a lot of people that believe that.
Mhm.
And for what I have predicted in the past about how things are going to change, I'm not inclined to jump on that bandwagon on that process, because I feel that there's two situations going on with that situation.
Mhm.
I believe that, like we've always known, the underground system needs to be completely obliterated. And if there's stuff going on that needs to be dismantled, it's going to have to be taken care of. But without less casualty is, if we can get it down to zero, that would be the best. But
Absolutely.
there's no way to avoid it completely. So I think, like I said, we're going to know the true story in 4 or 5 days. That's what I'm instinctively telling me, but I'm going back to the prediction that was telling me the lands are going to shift. This planet's like a Rubik's Cube, how everything shifts in place and flips around. So they're telling me that, and they've been telling me that for a while, how this thing's going to change. And now what's so real is we're actually seeing something happen, and we're not used to that happening at all. And so we're taking back by it and going, how do we handle this? How do we adapt to this? Because it's like anything else. It's something new that we're not used to.
I agree. Now, based on your intuitive mediumship, do you think Brandon is going to be impeached by the end of the year or even sooner?
I just call it a dismantling phase. I just think it's going to be something. Honestly, I don't think people care anymore. They just want him gone. Pretty much the knowledge of people already know he's gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They pretty much know. So it's just a matter of pushing that stage presence aside and going, let's just be done with this process that has been a situation for a while. And then being totally done with it instead of acting like it's really there and it's not.
All right.
So that's the whole situation with that.
Now, since I was going to say, I'm sorry, I guess the way I set it up is we only have 7 minutes or 6 minutes left on the Zoom here, and then it's going to shut down. So would you like to address some of the questions? Somebody said that there were 6 underground dumps in Hawaii. Is that correct, Jenny?
I believe there's more than that.
Okay, all right.
I believe there's a lot there because you have to understand where those islands are and how easy accessible they are to certain countries that wanted to do harm or wrong. So it's protected, but not to the extent that it keeps them out from that situation. So I believe there's more.
Interesting.
I have a bunch of predictions on Instagram and on my website for all that stuff too.
Yeah. Do you mind typing in your website so that way people could access you on the chat here?
www.jennysssight.net. So So the thing is I believe you're going to see more of this, and I believe, like I've been telling people, keep an eye on New York because I think there's going to be some activity from the sky that's coming down in that area, and then some ground surface stuff that's going to happen there too.
New York, huh?
So, yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think is going to be coming down from the sky in New York? And when do you project this?
A dream, and they showed me that this type of light source, this energy, and they saw it right by the Statue of Liberty, going in between the Statue of Liberty and New York, and it would go right deep into the ground and penetrate all the way to the core of Earth. So literally, is it about us on the surface? No, but they're showing me it has to do with the inner Earth. So they're showing me it has to do with an energy. But I think I've told you this, that I think the ley lines and the pyramids are all connected in an energy source, and that has to come back online.
I agree.
So we're dealing with seeing stuff that worked a long time ago, no one told us about, and those are going to come back online in regions of activity again.
Does anybody out there have any questions to address for Jenny right now? Can you comment a little bit about the rods of God, Jenny? I think you mentioned that before.
Oh yeah, the rods of God. So the thing about that, and they talked about, and one was in that is connected to the giants. One of them is connected to the giants, one of the bigger giants. And they told me when I did a channeling session with it, one of them that a higher being would come back and reclaim that God's rod again, and they were showing me this, and that would be at the bottom of one of the volcanoes that they had. So we look at volcanoes as something, as a 3D process. And you see spacecrafts above those. There's more going on with those volcanoes than people realize. The energy that is a source of that. So, so one of the rods of gods, they were showing me that is in that area, and that it's been down there for a while. And so, that is one that I would keep an eye on. And then I think some of these storms I say that you're seeing above are in layers of storms. There's not just one activity going on that you're seeing in the sky. There's many. And do I think part of the rods of God had to do with that? Yes. It depends on what's going on in that area. So we look at things and we look up and we think there's just one thing going on. And that's not what I channel, that there's layers of information, layers of storms going on, and layers of issues.
And then one final question. Sorry, Jenny, I just don't want my Zoom to cut you off, but somebody's asking, what are your feelings about Enki?
Full of shit. Sorry. Okay. So, I just think he's a prostitute of the universe. And I believe whoever's displaying that is it's another controlled program, it's another idol, it's another process that we need nothing to do with. We already went down that road with them, and we've got in a bad situation. So I don't have a problem saying it if he was here to his face or anything else, because I was channeled that information. They're saying, not worth putting time into, not worth trusting, don't go down that road again. So that's just a program trying to get you sucked into jumping off a cliff again.
So you agree that Enki was the one who enslaved us?
Oh, completely.
Okay.
Fooled us and then made deals all over. That was the problem. He's an honest person, very backstabbing, and I've asked that question over and over. And giving a power source, say like giving it too much power, that's what they said. You're giving it way too much power, that being, than more than he had. He just took advantage of the situation is what he did. Across the board.
And then also... And just one last thing. So you do confirm that Marduk was his son, right? Who later was translated as Baal, the Babylonian chief god.
Yes.
All right. I just wanted to point that out there because a lot of people want to know, Enki's stand in this whole thing, because there's a lot of people who say he was good when in essence, as you and I know, he was actually the evil one. But I actually have to say bye because it's about to cut you off the live. Do you have any coming events or anything that you're doing in the next couple of weeks?
Basically, right now it's mainly YouTube that's on this platform and Patreon, and I do a lot of downloads. I draw a lot of the stuff, and I put it on Instagram and stuff. So, and then I'm all about documentation, following the verification. That's the one thing about me. I like to verify when I predict stuff.
All right.
So they would have to go on Instagram. They would have to go on Patreon.
Oh no, Jenny, you're off. I'm sorry, it just kicked you right out. I guess the Zoom was only scheduled for an hour. All right, Soul Tribe, that was Jenny Lee for you, the seer, the medium, and apparently my Zoom just kicked her right off. How's everyone doing out there? I guess I'm going to take some questions now. Yeah, some very fascinating topics, right, guys? There's going to be something coming down in New York. It's going to come from the sky that has a lot to do with the inner earth societies. So, and then, of course, a lot of the activity, a lot of the stuff that's going on in Hawaii at this time, could be the result of weaponry systems, projected weaponry systems, in order to, again, I don't know if it's being done by the good guys or the bad guys, but it is confirmed, according to Jenny, that there are tons of dumps in Hawaii as well. All right, guys, so let's answer some questions. Any questions? Let's see. I'm going to try to answer some questions that I've never answered before. Andrea Kraber wants to know if I would let my, I don't know, let's see, let me rewind. No, I wouldn't move to Hawaii at this time, guys, and I wouldn't suggest. Yes, Enki was the so-called god of the Bible. He was the angry god, the god of vengefulness, the god that would kill other people. So yes, that was Enki, by the way. Let's see. What are your feelings about Peru aliens? Well, again, the extraterrestrial that established settlements in Peru, I believe, was Kukulkan, also known as Quetzalcoatl, who, of course, was Thoth, right? Thoth was the person who established the advanced civilizations in South America and Central America, and, of course, Mexico. So he was another son of Enki, by the way. They called him the Great Serpent. The indigenous of the Mesoamerican regions. So according to Jenny Lee, all right, guys, the media, things are about to hit the fan in favor of the White Hats. So if you guys aren't prepared, at least 2 weeks of what? Water and food. And of course, download the Signal app. Very important in case, the grid goes down. So make sure you guys have at least 2 weeks of water and food supplies. And then, of course, download the Signal app so that you can at least have some form of communication when the grid goes down. Let's see. Do I have an update on the solar flash, says Bovin. I do not, but it is inevitable, all right? It's coming. It's coming. Like I said in the last live, it's best to wake up every morning as if the solar flash is going to take place on that day. Be prepared mentally and emotionally. And of course, just make sure that your heart is right with God. Godis love. God is love. God is love. Thank you for the $20. God is love. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. My heart goes out to you. God is love. Thank you. See. One second, guys. I'm trying to get to more chats. I'm trying to answer questions that I've never answered before. Let's see. Okay, so Leela Hutchins wants to know who lives in the volcano. I would say, according to Jenny Lee and what she sees in her visions, they are subterranean civilizations that are perhaps related or associated with the Agarthian networks. So they're not necessarily negative. All right? Okay, so Tammy wants to know, what do I think about the giants? Well, the giants that have been sleeping in stasis in these chambers for the last 10, 15,000 years, guys, are the negative giants. Those are the ones that the Bible calls the Nephilim, all right? The offspring of the fallen Anunnaki and the females of the earth. Those are also known as the Igigi, right? Those that were in charge of the Mars orbiting station that were in fact working with Enki. Again, Enki is the reason why the flood needed to happen, because he tried to corrupt the original lineage of the angelic humans, or what we call the Adamic lineage. So if it wasn't for the flood, we wouldn't be here right now, guys. This whole world would have been dominated by, orcs and monstrous and hybrids that do not have any of the angelic original genetics. All right, so Petra wants to know if beings from the high dimensions have DNA. Or is it just here on the earth? Absolutely, guys. Genetics exists all the way up to the 12th dimension, okay? So in harmonic universe number 2, we use a combination of carbon-based DNA and crystalline-based DNA in dimensions 4, 5, and 6. As we go into dimension 6, it's just crystalline. But in dimensions 4 and 5, it's a combination of carbon and crystal. Of course, in the 5th dimension, it's mostly crystal, and in the 6th dimension, it's pure crystal. As we go into harmonic universe 3, we begin to use what is known as etheric matter, okay, or etheric DNA, about 48 strands, not 12 or 24, about 48 strands of DNA. All right, and as we go into harmonic universe 4, we use hydroplasmic genetics, all right, and that is almost pure light. And then, of course, as we go into the 5th harmonic universe, it is just pure light, all right? So we are able to use beyond 48 strands of DNA. So yes, the strands of DNA correspond to the particular harmonic universe and the particular system that it inhabits. Yes. When the solar flash happens, will it happen fast? Blink of an eye. Absolutely. All right. Just like the Bible says, guys, and other, manuscripts, religious manuscripts, it's going to happen in the twinkling of an eye. It's going to be a sudden shift. Absolutely. Have you met Babaji, Mahavata Babaji from Kriya Yoga? No, I've never met him in person. But I do know, I've been told that he actually works with, he's one of my guides. He's one of the persons who actually inspired me into writing my book. Okay, so Ricky Lee, thank you for the donation, brother, of the $5. Wants to know, because I love you, bro. I love your book and information. Because I love your book and information. Thank you, Ricky. I am so glad and happy that you do. Again, guys, that book was written for you guys. I was just a channel. And yes, before I published my book, and even when I was in the middle of writing it, I was told that the ascended beings, including Babaji, Sai Baba, Sir Yukteswar, and many ascended beings were actually in support of my book, knowing that one day it would contribute to a mass initiation of higher consciousness. And this is what I was told, 10 years ago when I was still writing the book, almost finishing, but, in the process of still writing the book. It had the blessings from the masters. That's what I was told. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, so Real Truth Lives. Thank you for the $20 donation. You want to know, given the speeding up, any chance of getting Jenny and you back together soon? Absolutely. If you guys resonate with her, which I did, by the way, I've known Jenny for a little over a year now. She actually reached out to me. All right. She reached out to me about a little over a year ago saying, Ishmael, I had a message from above that, you're the real deal when it comes to revealing galactic and cosmic information, that you are some sort of a liaison between the extraterrestrial community and humans on Earth, and also a person who's here to remind the rest of the starseeds about their mission and purpose and duty. So she's the one who actually confirmed that that information came from her spirit guides. And she called me a messenger. And I believe that every starseed out there is a messenger from above. So that's how I met Jenny, by the way. So thank you for the $20 donation, Real Truth Lives. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So yes, upon request, I will bring Jenny back. But this time, I'm going to make sure that I have her on longer than what I did today. Again, this is my first time actually sharing my screen with someone else, so it took about 25 minutes to figure things out. And even then, we were still kind of testing the sound with just me and Jenny on before we went on the live. So again, pardon me and excuse me for the delay. I promise you guys that Saturday night, I'm going to go live punctually. All right, and I might even have another surprise. All right. So again, yes, I will bring her back, definitely. Let's see. Trying to get back to oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? I guess we have a lot of questions. So I'm going to try to answer some people that I've never answered before. Okay, I'm trying to be fair here, guys. I'm trying not to just answer the same people. So let's see. Family Channel says, so I have weddings in LA September 9th. Probably shouldn't buy airline tickets. I would meditate on that. Again, guys, when it comes to information, and even for our own selves, yes, it's great to get, somebody else's perspective, perhaps mediums and stuff, but I would always go within yourself, because your higher self always knows exactly, what's going to happen. All right. So go within yourself and pretty much see what you feel about it. See if it resonates. If you don't feel it, then don't buy the airline ticket. But if you feel it, then go ahead and buy it. Okay? Then you'll be fine. So yeah, I would say go within yourself. Check always with your inner self. Oh, Nancy Elliott. Hello, Nancy. How are you? I think you follow me on Instagram as well, right? All right. So Nancy wants to know, thank you for the $10. Appreciate that, sister. Thank you. Thank you. Ishmael, can AI access the medbeds through quantum entanglements? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. The AI system, okay, technically, currently right now, yes, the AI signal is here. The AI signal could penetrate any form of technology, so including the satellite systems, including the quantum financial system. However, and this is where I believe it's all going to happen around the solar flash, all simultaneously. The implementation of the new, QFS, the disclosure, right? The restoration of advanced technologies. I believe that when the solar flash takes place, it's going to totally fry and destroy everything, the AI infrastructure and its signal. And then, of course, at that point, it won't have any access to the quantum financial system or to the medbeds or any other technology. So that's a very good question, Nancy. Thank you so much for asking. Let's see. Oh, 1 second. Adrian? Oh, Haiti? I'm trying to get to her. Oh, Aiden. Okay, so apparently Aiden has a question and gave a donation, so I'm looking for Aiden. Oh, there he is. Oh, no, that's not Aiden. Let's see. Where's Aiden at? Oh, there he is. Aiden, how you doing? All right, so I appreciate the $2.79. Thank you. Where can I buy a new copy of your book? Okay, so in the description of this live, at the end of the live, I will go ahead and put the link for my new edition where, I added another chapter which talks about what happens after the ascension and the final war against Enki and the AI god. I will put the link to the new edition in the description of this live. All right, guys? So you'll have access to my new book then. And again, the audio version is also available. So you can actually get, if you like to read, get the paperback. All right. The hardcover is the best because that will last you forever. You can actually put it in your own little library in a bookshelf. It looks like I have books behind me, right? It's actually the green screen. So I'm using some sort of a visual, guys. I'm just being real here with you guys. But it's better than just the green screen, right? Allison Goodwin, I love you too, sister. Thank you for being here. Billy Brown, thank you. Welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, I'm glad to know that you guys resonate with Jenny. She is genuine. Yes, she is. She is. Let's see. Okay, so somebody wants to know, what is the Signal app? Okay, so the Signal app is an application that was actually created by the White Hats that will be the only system that's going to be working when the shutdown takes place. That's the best way to answer that, all right? It's connected to the new satellite system, which is going to be, of course, tied into the quantum financial system. So it is an application that was created by the White Hats in order to keep some form of communication going among the awoke, all right? Or those that, like us. So go ahead and download the Signal app at this time, guys, because that's going to be the only way of communication during the blackout when it happens. All right, so somebody says I skipped questions on Lord Shiva. The Hindu gods, you have Brahma, right? Brahma is the creator. And then you have Shiva, right? I believe Shiva is the preserver, I believe. And then, of course, you also have Kalki. Or is it the other way around? I'm not too familiarized, guys, with the Hindu gods, but I know that it's a triune system of gods where you have the creator, the preserver, and the destroyer, all right? The destroyer is the one with the many arms, right? Right? Similar to the statue that they put in front of CERN, which means the god of destruction. But according to the Hindu mythology, they all work together, where you have the Brahma creating. Then you have, I think it's, I believe it's Kali. I believe it's Kali or Shiva. It could be Shiva. You have the preserver, and then you also have the destroyer. Now, the destroyer destroys the old in order to create a new. So it's like a cycle of creation, preservation, destruction, creation, so that something new could be created. All right, so I believe that's what that means. All right, so we have another question by, all right, Sundal Roy. Thank you for being here. I like your number one. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for the $15 donation. Hi Ishmael, love your word. Can you please talk about Ishtar? Was she a real being, an ET perhaps? Absolutely. And again, all the gods of mythology are known by different names in every culture. So some people call Ishtar Ninmah, the mother goddess of the mountains, the giver of life. Some people believe that Ishtar is also the feminine counterpart of the Ashtar Kamen. So she is known by various names in the different world mythologies. And from what I understand is that she is part of the Council of Guardians. So yes, Ishtar. Ishtar is definitely a positive, benevolent extraterrestrial. As you guys know, the gods of mythology were no gods. They were actually ETs from advanced civilizations. So that's who Ishtar was. She was a positive, benevolent extraterrestrial that was working within the courts or the councils of light in the guardianship and, of course, in the protection of the earthlings during ancient times. Thank you. That was a wonderful question, Sandal. Let's see. Yes, the internet will be going down if the solar flash takes place. But not the shutdown that's coming. The shutdown that's coming is going to be implemented by the White House in order to, again, do a massive arrest of, the clones that are lurking. So those are two different events, guys. The White Hat event, right? And the solar flash are two different events. Now, I guess the question would be, are they going to happen simultaneously? I don't know. I'm going to find out just like you guys are. So I guess we're all going to know at the same time. Thank you for the love. Appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to actually have a moderator here, but I don't care. If there's trolls, let there be trolls, guys. I could care less. I don't see any. So far, everybody's saying good things here, which means a lot to me. Thank you guys so much for being positive and keeping the chat very, ethical and very clean. Somebody wants to know, is Elena, I don't want to say her name, is ED lying about Ashtar? I believe so, yes, she is. Yes, Ashtar is actually good. All right, Ashtar Command has been working Prime Creator Source for millions of years. And working with Ashtar Command, we have Commander Kortik. And of course, Commander Sirius Hayton, Commander Athena, and Commander Koltik. So those are the various commanders that are working within the what we call the Space Brotherhood Command of the Ashtar Forces. And they are a division of the Federation of Worlds, or what we call the Galactic Alliance now. So yes, Ashtar is not an evil being. He's not a fallen entity. He comes from a Pleiadian star system that is known as the Asgard, which is similar to what we watch in the movie Thor, of course. But again, when we watch Marvel Comics, there's so much truth, hidden in fiction. I believe the shutdown is going to be worldwide, guys. Yes. It's not just going to happen here in the US. All right, so Leanie Kenny wants to know, thank you for the 1111 donation. Thank you. One Love, is the Signal app for cell phones, or can it be downloaded on a laptop as well? That's a very good question. Yes, it is for cell phones. And can anybody answer her second part of the question? Is it possible to download it on a laptop as well, or is it just for the cell phones? If somebody wants to just write it in the chat, please do, because I don't know the answer about the laptops, but I do know it's for the cell phones. Let's see. My mom was on antidepressants when she died of cancer. She didn't make it? No. She did make it. Okay, this is the way I see it, Chris. Oh, and thank you for the $11, Chris. If your mom was generally a good person, all right, and she was just trying to live her life, chances are, if she's not a starseed, she's definitely at least in the fourth dimensional Earth, all right? And if she was a starseed, then she's obviously in the fifth dimensional Earth already waiting for you. So no, I don't think she, something bad happened to her. Again, guys, death is a transition, all right? Death is a transition into a new life. I don't believe that death is the end all of things. That is a false teachings that was concurred by the organized religions that were, again, devised by Marduk and Enki. So to answer your question, I think if your mom was generally a good person, you are going to see her again. All right, Chris? So don't lose any faith or hope in that. Will we see the mythology gods like Zeus? Well, a new set of gods are going to be emerging. And this time the gods are going to be more powerful. And they are emerging in the personages of you guys, the starseeds, okay? You guys carry the archetypes or carry the archetype of the gods within your DNA template. So the answer to that is yes, and even more powerful. I see my friend Allison Goodwin is here. Thank you, Allison, for being here. Okay, so she's asking, how do we all survive without technology? I certainly did prepare. Oops, it's going too fast. I certainly did prepare your loved ones. I certainly did prepare your loved ones for potential outages. Yes. Again, guys, if this is an event concurred by the White Hats in order to, bring about the mass event, the mass arrest, and implement Gesera and Asera, it's only going to last for no more than 10 days to maybe 14, 13 days. So as long as you guys have food supply and water, and a power generator and some sort of natural light, you guys are going to be fine. We really don't need technology to survive for a small period of time, guys. And this is going to also afford you the opportunity to what? Go within, meditate, begin to activate. All right, guys? To answer your question, Allison, all right, how can we describe Elohim, the difference? Oh, how different? Well, guys, we are Elohim, the starseeds, the volunteers, the celestials that took the call to come to the earth. You guys are all part of the family of Elohim, right? We're here to pretty much bring back the original angelic humans that were created in Lyra, all right? That's what we're going to do. As starseeds, we are meant to become giants. Allison says, no question, just comment. Well, thank you for your input, Allison. Thank you so much. Let's see. Will our broken relationships within family be mended in the higher dimensions? Yes, I believe so, especially if they go at least to the fourth dimension. Okay, in the Bible, Enki is called the serpent. The serpent, all right? And he's the reason why we fell from a state of immortality into mortality. And to the Greeks, he was known as Poseidon. Enki, Poseidon, Samuel, Enlil, Zeus, Yahweh, all right? Again, I'm trying to like blend in the Bible with the ancient Sumerian tablets. Yes, all animals will ascend, most definitely, absolutely. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you, thank you. Love right back to you guys. Thank you for the hearts. Radiating love and appreciation to the Soul Tribe, to the Jedis, to the new Council of Guardians. Never forget how powerful you guys are. All right, I'm just here to remind you guys of your own individual giant that you have lurking within yourself. Let it out, unleash it. All right, this is the time, guys. It is time for us to rise, and no holding back. By the way, no holding back. Some of these questions. All right, they just crack me up. You guys have a beautiful sense of humor, by the way. Let's see. Thank you guys. What is your opinion on twin flames? Is it real? People always ask me that question, and again, the answer to that is, I believe so. I just don't know much about twin flames. If so, will we be reunited in the 50? Absolutely. I think in the 50, a lot of people are going to be coming together that were meant to be together in the new earth. So that's my opinion. That's all I know. The twin flame subject is really not my domain, guys. But I do know that it is a truth, and I do know that some of the twin flames did not incarnate. So, and some did. So, hopefully that answers your question. You guys want me to invite Tara by Janine? Tara by Janine? Okay, I'll text her. I'll see if she wants to come on my show soon so we could ask her some questions. Let's see. Yes, Marduk is also part of the serpent race. 75% Draconian and only 25% Lyrian, Anuhasi, Syrian, where Enki's 50 and 50. All right, so Marduk was the most evilest reptilian that actually took over the affairs of our world. All right, he was the force behind every succeeding empire, beginning with Babylon to the Medo-Persian Empire, to the Macedonian, to the Greco-Roman, and of course the Roman Empire. You said, thank you for your streams. Because of your stream, I found my twin flame. Now I feel activation. You're welcome, Natalie. I'm so glad that I brought you guys together on my live streams. Congratulations. All right. That's going to help fire up the grid. Let's see. I'm trying to get to questions that I've never answered before. That is very true, Allison Goodwin says. We can communicate without any signal, WhatsApp, etc. That's right. We do have telepathic abilities, guys. Start working on unraveling your telepathic abilities. They are just there waiting for you to command them into reality or to activate them into, usage. That's right, Truth Seeker. You guys are all important in your own unique ways. And just like in the X-Men, every single one of you guys has a special gift and power. All right? Where you have, where you excel in more so than others. Now, I'm going to take 2 more questions, guys. It's been about an hour. And then I am going to drive home for 2 hours from the studio. Yeah, they did. They recommended Tarot by Janine. Yeah. Let's see. All right, I think, okay, so, this is an interesting topic. Radiant Guardian says, I think twin flames are other versions of yourselves. Again, guys, that could also be the case. I don't know much about twin flames, but, some believe, okay, there's 2 camps when it comes to this philosophy or this, thought system of thought. You have those that believe that the twin flame is really the rebalancing of the masculine and feminine within all of us, all right? And then some believe that the twin flame is really just one spirit living in 2 bodies, all right, coming together as one. So those are the 2 main, I guess, camps when it comes to the twin flame phenomena. But what I do know is that when we ascend, when we are, the veil is lifted and we regain our memories back and we reach full capacity, it's all going to be known to us. Everything's going to be revealed to us. Okay, one more question and then I'm going to exit, guys. Do you guys want to see the real green screen, or you guys like my little artificial library behind me? Oh, okay, let's answer that question. All right, so thank you, Andy. Thank you for the $5 donation. Is Ninurta still alive? Okay, for those that don't know, Ninurta was the firstborn of Enlil, not Enki, Enlil, of the positive Anunnaki, of Zeus, in other words. And the answer to that is yes. And by the way, guys, Zeus is still alive. He is not dead, as some people claim. Absolutely not. He is well and alive. And he's actually on a mission, fighting the war against the AI god. That's why he's not in our realm right now as I speak. But again, when we activate, we're going to be 100 times more powerful than they were, than the gods of mythology. All right, guys? So don't forget that. They're going to be under us. The Anunnakis, all extraterrestrials are going to be under us when we activate. But I do believe that there is a version of Zeus that is on the earth at this time. All right? A fractal, per se. Let's see. All right, I think that's it. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your time. And we will see you again Saturday night at 7:15 Pacific time, 10 o'clock or 10:15 Eastern time. Have a beautiful night, guys. Thank you for being here. And yes, I will invite Jenny Lee once again. And of course, I will reach out to Tarot by Janine to have her on my show as well. Thank you so much. Beautiful night. Bye.